to have everybody speak here, and I'm going to let Devin start first. It's Devin Vance, and he is American Tile, and they do a lot of the cleaning, the polishing of the marbles, which is a very, very complex subject.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate the bigger stage. Hi, everybody. My name is Devin. I'm with American Tile Installations. We were founded in 1984 and strictly went into marine exclusively by 1989. So we have quite a bit of experience working on boats, and now that's all we work on, boats. We are double faceted, and we are comprehensive, can meet all of your stone needs from new installations to refitting, and then polishing and maintenance, which is an ongoing process, as most of you know. I find myself walking onto most vessels. There is crew turnover, so there's misinformation, there's new information being brought on internally from previous experience. And I like to ask a lot of questions when I go on the boats and ask what the crew are using to clean, what they're using to maintain, what happens for a spill, an emergency, or something that was unexpected. Unfortunately, marble and a lot of the natural stones on our boats, they're not very forgivable in that sense. One cup placed down on a table will leave a nasty ring. One spill of champagne or wine will leave a dull mark in the middle of a beautiful floor. So our services are needed as needed, regular maintenance, and also for prevention by sealing stone. There definitely is a lot of misinformation to the public, to the crew, and to anyone in general, mostly as a result of the internet and people going on message boards or do-it-yourself sites, and even product manufacturer sites that sometimes have their magic potions in a bottle that they tout as being the one-all be-all for your needs. And that clearly isn't the case. In fact, a lot of the products that you buy and purchase and are given by friends and other people who may be in a related business are bad for the stone. So waxes and compounds that people would naturally think that you can put on stone are actually harmful. They can cause a white stone to turn yellow from a lack of breathability. Due to the porosity of the stone, there are always gases and things that need to be released into the atmosphere. And when you're on conditions such as the water enduring heat and humidity and even salt all around you, these are all corrosive products, corrosive elements that will deter the marble from looking its best. So that's where we come in on an ongoing basis to work out the kinks, to make sure the stone looks as good as it can ever look, as often as possible. So a lot of our customers over the years will call us every time they're in town, but in the event that you're away on an island or somewhere else in the middle of the world, wherever it may be, we're at your disposal. We work at your destination if need be. If you have a party, if you have a special guest, or you have a function on the boat and the previous guest left it a mess, we can come and help you out and take care of the marble polishing needs and set you up correctly for the next period of time. We do have products. We don't sell products, but we do have a handful of products that we like, and we're happy to pass along information and links and provide you with research and insight to anything you may need or have questions with pertaining to the stone. I like to meet with crew. I like to meet with chief stewardesses and housekeeping on boats and ask them what they're doing to clean the stone, and if there's any tweaking I could do while I'm there, I'm happy to give that advice. And especially after we're done polishing and making the boats look beautiful again, I want to make sure that they're set up for success moving forward by providing that insight, cleaning tips, in-house little touch-ups that can be done, and checking for early detection for leaks and other issues that may involve some of the other trades that are here, such as wood damage, wallpaper damage, paint damage, that can sometimes be avoided or caught early enough to not lead to larger damage. And I think that's really what you need to do. Once you have this stone, this beautiful, natural, hard surface on your boat, you need to know how to take care of it. You need to know how to think ahead of the guests before they go and do certain things and be a little strategic with it. There are certainly more things you can do to harm the stone than improve it. So it's better to call a professional like American Tile Installations to give you some proper advice and maybe help you through whatever you're going through while you're out there before you're able to come to town and get polishing done, or potentially installation or refitting if the damage is that severe, or someone's looking to just freshen up the look of the boat. Designer wants to come on, the owner is tired of looking at the stone and wants a little bit of a facelift. That's where we can help you. Full services on both sides of the spectrum, from installation to the follow-up care, maintenance, sealing, and product knowledge and information, and even training for crew on personal upkeep and taking care of your boat, making it look its best. Does anybody have any questions about it? Yes, sir.
Yeah, two things. So I'd like to have a question.
Absolutely.
I tend to wave my arms around rather too much when I'm talking, and I've been known to knock red wine, and then you pour the water on and it goes, fizzy water takes it away.
Yeah.
So it's a neat little trick. You mentioned that pouring wine on stone could leave a dull air and so on, and that could be in the middle of a charter, and out in the middle of nowhere, and you're not handy by to restore the finish.
Right.
Are there any sort of quick fixes that the crew on board can have something in a cupboard that they can, or a locker that they can bring out and just quickly deal with a spill like that, so as to do two things? One is to make it look as good as they can, and two, not create any further damage by using the wrong kind of cleaning stuff. What would you recommend?
Absolutely, it's a great question. Obviously, accidents are unexpected happenings. We're never completely prepared for whatever may happen. It may be a glass of liquor falling to a bottle shattering underway. Who knows, when liquid is spilling or sitting on the floor. The biggest mistake people make is they quickly run and grab a towel and wipe it up. And what you're doing is you're actually spreading all of that alcohol or whatever that liquid may be all over the floor, potentially making a larger stain, or what really is called an etch mark. Most of the common issues that we find from alcohol and citric acid or anything on a boat, for the most part, you're not really finding stains. A stain would be a discoloration, which hopefully you don't see. Red wine can create a stain, creating a red marking in your stone. However, by sealing it, which is a process that we do with every polishing and restoration service, we seal the floor, and that buys you a window of time to grab something, remove the product from the floor before the tannins or the dyes actually absorb and become permanent markings in the floor. So number one, you want to blot the spill up. You don't want to spread it around. Use an absorbent towel, whether it's terry, microfiber, even paper towel, whatever's convenient that will absorb, and to pat the stain and blot it without spreading it down. Number two, you want to rinse it with soap and water. A very mild soap such as dish soap and water heavily diluted to cleanse and neutralize that acid so that it's not lingering inside the stone. Every time you water and rinse afterwards, you can be reactivating that acid, and that stain or problem can grow. So you want to neutralize with soap and water, flush it very well, and then you want to blot it dry and just let it air dry. By that time, unfortunately, with most stones, unless it's granite, most granites, you will have an etch mark. You will have a dull spot in the shape of however that splash or spill occurred. There is really not a great consumer-based product for concealing that, short of placing a vase, a statue, a sculpture over that until you come back to town and we can actually refinish it properly. A lot of the magic potions and the bottles out there that says, put this on your spot, it will fix it, they are usually waxes that will conceal but also clog the stone's pores to not allow it to breathe, and it needs oxygen, it needs the atmosphere to release all of these things into to help it alleviate itself. Liquid doesn't want to stay in the stone, it wants to come out. So if the liquid is still in the stone and you're applying magic marble compound or miracle magic, whatever it is, it goes over the stone, it may give you a little bit of time or a resource to get a little bit of deterrence from the look of that mark, but in the long run it's not good. I say do what you need to do as long as you're not doing something that is permanently affecting the stone. If it's a compound, if it's a product and you need to get through a day or a week visit or something, do what you got to do. Most likely you're not going to do harm to an extent in which we cannot alleviate or you can remove yourself by just putting something on there over a couple of days. A lot of people use gel gloss, for example. A very common product I find on the boats. I think whatever you need to do to get through is fine, as long as you're not painting or coating something that is not removable or forgiving in that sense. Gel gloss in general, I don't like. It is a wax and an oil, and it tends to smudge and leave fingerprints all over your stone. It's a battle for any housekeeping crew to keep it looking streak-free and print-free. So you want to minimize the damage and not spread it. That's really the key to it. And then as soon as you're able to, it will need professional service to actually polish that back out. But that's really the safest answer for you.
Thanks.
No problem. Anybody else? Yeah.
I'm going to say something, and I just heard this 2 days ago. So one of the reasons I decided to put this panel together is because I, as a chief steward, really didn't know much about ours these days. And the stewardesses, they know all about the wines, they know all about the cigars, they know all about the silver service. One of the biggest responsibilities of these big boats is the multi-million dollars of interiors that is inside of them. So it's still under her responsibility, the chief stewardess. So I was on a boat the other day and telling them about what we were doing, and she said, that's fantastic. She says, I called up the ex-chief stewardess of the boat I'm on now, and I asked her how she cleaned marble. She said she uses bleach. Now that bleach, I don't know, that's very acidic, but that bleach is going to go to the wood, that bleach can get to the carpet, the bleach was taken out. I mean, that was a shock. So my intention is to educate people to make a proper decision, but not a home brew remedy you see on social media.
Right. And that there's a lot of do-it-yourselves out there on Houzz and all of these other social media websites that are do-it-yourself, Bob Vila, I mean, whomever, they're offering solutions for the homeowner to basically whip up a home brew with pastes and peroxides and peanut butter and whatever to find something accessible that you have on the boat. But that's exactly it. I go into a lot of situations where stewardesses are using vinegar. You know, they use vinegar a lot on glass to clean the glass. Sometimes they're spraying, which is the biggest no-no, because then you have the overspray and the mist falling on the wood, on the metal, on the stone, and you're getting this fine mist. Hairspray is another thing. When guests use hairspray, they're just a cyclone of this alcohol and glue just spraying everywhere, and it's very difficult to take off. If you can do these things by using just a little bit of water on a damp rag, and I don't want to speak for other trades, that's always the first go-to. Try not to use a product. Always work backwards from the least invasive, getting a little bit heavier, but with direction from a professional maybe as you're getting heavier into products. Bleach is a no-no for any natural stone, whether it's marble, granite, or even engineered stone, which is one of the newest trends that are going onto boats, which is a hybrid of man-made epoxies with crushed real stone embedded into it. Lots of colors, lots of designs and movement to really match any decor and interior, but there are many limitations for this engineered stone. Vinegar is extremely caustic as well. It will etch your stone, it will dull the stone, something that is not recommended. So when all else fails, water first. If you need to add a little soap to loosen up hairspray or maybe some juice or something sticky, a little bit of household dish soap and water is perfectly fine. Wash it on, rinse it off, and dry it thoroughly. Always dry your stone. That's going to help things from lingering and spreading and giving it a bad impression. And that's really it. Yes, sir?
What would be the most harmful thing that you can get on a stove? Something that you will never be able to remove or fix?
Absolutely. What I find a lot of the deckhands outside are using rust remover or pipe cleaning or harsh chemical acids, things like this, and they'll set the can of the rust remover on a granite top or on a nearby table without thinking. And before you know it, you've got a little bit of dribble of that product that will leach down and form a beautiful ring that will actually extract color from the stone. It will wear away and deteriorate the stone to the point where it's almost rough and scaly and much lighter than it was before. Sometimes we can get rid of that. Sometimes we can grind through it and polish it back out and we'll never know it was there. And in some cases I've seen it where the stone is permanently marred. The color has been extracted out of the stone and now you have a beautiful black shiny granite top with a white ring in the middle of it. That you can't do anything other than put a statue of Oz or something decorative over it to hide that until you figure out plan B. So that's probably the most caustic and the worst damage that I've ever seen. We can't always resolve. Yes?
A very simple one which you guys fixed is when the guys are washing the deck and I've got their feet in deck wash all day long and then walk through to lunch.
Yeah.
That's enough, and we had footprints. And we actually did the thing we CSI thing of matching who it was. But say it stays in the skin.
Yes.
Like they weren't wet. It stays in the skin. There was enough, whatever the horrible substance was, to cause a trail of footprints.
Look, we have pores in our skin, so not only can we sweat and exude moisture, we can actually hold it in with our skin. So yes, if you're sweat or you're wet and you step in something, you can certainly trail that product through. So
What's the answer then? You're not wearing shoes inside.
Well, they can
Go take a
either
shower.
they should wear shoes cleaning the
It's
deck,
very
which
common.
kind of is better for their health anyway,
Yes.
if they have any consideration. Or you just have to make very, very sure that rule of not walking through the interiors applies even more. That they come in through the side, there's towels, they go straight on something that they can't.
It's very common though that they're not wearing shoes on boats. Like I don't know why that is, but I mean we're doing carpets and stuff, so we've seen a lot of damage on carpets also because of all the oils that come through your pores and stuff. And I have no idea why, but I've seen a lot of them doing it, and they're thinking that's the right thing to do, like walking barefooted.
you know, one of the simplest things that is an end-all be-all for general cleaning is dish soap. People go out and they buy these expensive marble soaps and product soaps, and all they are just neutral pH soaps, which can be found in an Ivory or Palmolive, a $3 bottle at Publix or any local grocery store. As long as you're heavily diluting it so that you're not getting a buildup of soap product in whatever you're washing on, that's what you want. But it is the best degreaser that you can possibly buy, which is great when you need to wipe your feet or clean your feet, wash your feet from coming outside to in. Soapy water is excellent because it will cut through the grease and neutralize a lot of those caustic products that may be attached to your skin or shoes or anything else. So when all else fails, water, maybe introduce a little bit of dish soap to it and dry it very thoroughly. If they walked in with dry feet, perfectly dry feet, in most cases they probably wouldn't be etching or leaving a trail, even if they didn't really rinse. But rinsing is certainly going to help remove that caustic product from them, but then drying it once more is just it's a necessity. It has to be done. Yes.
Car manufacturers hate suntan cream
Mm-hmm.
or sun cream, sunblock, because it contains a penetrant that goes through the coating that's on the dashboard, hits the plastic, and then pushes the paint off.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see handprints all over the coatings on boats.
Mm-hmm.
Is stone fairly impervious to sun cream because there isn't like a layered coating system, or is it just as vulnerable?
Perfect example, Carpe Diem, a 150-odd foot boat, has white onyx throughout the mastheads. They actually have under the heating element underneath, which onyx is somewhat of a translucent stone. You can see the heating elements and faint lines underneath, but the owners love to use suntan lotion and tanning liquids. So their white stone is now brown in the areas where they walk and use this product. And now the heating elements are heating up through and helping to dissolve and dissipate. So now you have white lines running through brown matter on a white onyx floor. And it's been like this for years. It does not come out. There are certain things that are attached. There are oils in that. Oil is the #1 stone killer. Besides something acidic and caustic that will eat away the surface, oil will get down in the pores and attach itself to the actual walls of the stone, creating a darker impression. So we do have poultices, which are concoctions that we can create with different chemicals and pastes that we can leave on certain stains to try to extract them from within the stone. It's very difficult. It's usually a multi-application without any guarantees, but at that point when something is inside the stone, it's not something I can grind or polish off of the surface. It's down below. We have to attack it by chemical means, by putting something on the surface that will eventually get in there, like peroxide on a wound, and bring all that dirt back up to the surface in a sense. That's what we do. So if that ever happens, you want to nip it in the bud, attack it as soon as possible. Call us. We can help you with a little do-it-yourself remedy and tell you what you can use to try to alleviate that. I don't care if something spills and it becomes dull. I can get that out all day long. That's never an issue. The biggest stone killer besides corrosion is oil-based stains, something that's brown or yellow or sunken into that stone that we just can't get to. That sometimes causes you to need to replace stone in that case. Yes?
That's preventative stuff. To seal it.
Yes, we seal every product that we touch. Whether we're doing a quick once-over polishing for maintenance, we seal it. Whether we're refinishing stone to remove mars or scratches and drips and drops, we seal it.
How long does that last?
Sealer is a big misinformation. Sealer is not bulletproof. Even though something is sealed, it's still extremely susceptible, mostly for etching. The sealer that we use on stone is impregnating. It bleeds inside the stone. It doesn't reside on the surface like a coating. You couldn't scrape it off if you even wanted to. So it's inside the stone, forming walls, forming an added layer, almost like a Teflon coating on a pan. So if something falls, it's keeping it on the surface. It's not allowing that liquid to attach itself to the stone. However, if that liquid contains alcohol, it's going to break down that sealer as it's penetrating, defeating the purpose. So even though you're sealing it, it's an added layer of protection, but it's buying you just a small window of an opportunity to wipe up a spill, and it is not foolproof. It's the only thing you could do to help prevent something from occurring and becoming a permanent mar, but it's just a window of opportunity.
So what kind of preventative maintenance? I mean, is that sealant that should be done weekly, monthly,
No.
annually?
You can't overseal the stone because eventually the stone will not absorb it any longer. So that's why I get asked the question, well, can't you put a few extra coats of sealer on? No, we can't do that. We put a coat of sealer on, it bleeds in. We put another layer of sealer over that. The first thing did its job, so that's just sitting on the surface, left to dry. And if excess sealer dries on the stone, it becomes sticky like glue. It will get on your feet, it will get on your shoes, it will print, it will smudge, it will make it tacky. So we can only seal as much as the stone will allow it to break up. After that, it's just redundant, and it can actually be problematic from oversealing. So a lot of, I go onto boats and what are you doing? Oh, we seal the stone every time we do a detail cleaning. Well, you're not really sealing the stone. You're spinning your wheels, you're wasting product, and you're potentially causing more harm for that sealer to get elsewhere. A lot of sealers contain mineral spirits, so if you're doing that around stained areas or leather or wood, you're going to extract the dye from that and possibly damage those adjacent surfaces. I never recommend for crews to seal their own stone. Also, you must completely clean the stone in its entirety, or else you're sealing whatever's on the stone into the stone potentially. So we need to make sure the stone is pristine before we apply a sealer to actually be effective for the stone.
So I mean, it sounds like the crew can maintain this stuff.
The crew can keep it clean and free of contaminants. The crew can mitigate damages by knowing how to clean up an accidental spill. In showers, very importantly, it's very difficult if the guests are showering at night and you're not able to get in there until the next day to get rid of all of the products that are using that are sticking to the walls and accumulating on the floor. But cleaning that with a little dish soap and water, cutting through the soap and products, squeegeeing it down and drying the walls physically will help prevent streaks and water spots from accumulating in the shower. It's inevitable that it will happen, but by the crew doing the proper protocol and cleaning and maintenance of the stone, it will put off the need for us to come in sooner than later. So you're just basically trying to slow down what is inevitable until you're comfortable in having a professional service come in and remedy whatever the issue may be. That's it. Well, we're always available for help via email, phone, and text if anyone has questions or knows of anyone that has any questions or the need for our business. Feel free to reach out to us. We'll have cards for everybody that's here, and Rick certainly could put anyone in touch with us as well if need be too. Thank you, everybody.